Welcome to From the Den podcast, providing Bears and NFL fans alike with compelling news, discussion, and debate. I'm your co-host Benjamin, joined alongside my dear friend and co-host Oren.
Hey Benjamin, let's get right into it. As always, kickoff starts now.
So about Tarik Cohen being used as a receiver, do you think that he should just be shifted to wide receiver, or do you think he should be used more as a receiver or running back, or do you like him where he is? What do you think about his versatile position?
I think last year the Bears utilized him in a completely wrong way. I think that Matt Nagy is very creative, and everyone thinks he's creative, and I do believe he is creative. But why wasn't Cordero Patterson used more? Why wasn't Tarik Cohen was used? I think a bit.
I mean, they do have a lot. They have a lot of guys on their offense. But Cordero Patterson makes sense, but it's also Devin Hester was not a good receiver, so I don't know. Cordero Patterson didn't get utilized enough on the receiving game for me to make a judgment about if he was good or bad. So I know Cordero Patterson isn't your main point here. I might just be being a stickler, but I think he's a useful player in the return game. I don't know if he needed to be utilized more in the offense.
Yeah, and I would want to go back to
Tarik Cohen. Yeah,
Cohen. I think that Matt Nagy needs to use him more in a unpredictable sense. I feel like Tarik Cohen has played too much as a receiver in 2019, and I feel like the Bears, first of all, need to use him. The Bears need to use him less, not because he's not good, but I feel like he got a bit overworked.
You think you should have that element of surprise, whether
he's a gadget player, and the Bears use too much. The Bears use Cordero Patterson too little. They need to use them both in a solid amount, and that's what I think they need to use David Montgomery more. They take 2 carries away from Tarik Cohen, but having Tarik Cohen in is a huge boost to the team. Not only do they not utilize him well, I feel like they overused him in the sense. I think he didn't have that many less receptions in 2019 and 2018. He was targeted a lot. He dropped a lot of balls. And I think that just having him on the team is great, but only in a specific capacity. And I don't get why the Bears didn't use Cordero Patterson more. Not only, I think that the Bears put Cordero Patterson at running back, and it wasn't great all the time. But the Bears needed to scheme more for him in the sense of jet sweeps, crazy plays, anything exciting to get them on their heels. Trick plays that are crazy, for example, when Tarik Cohen threw it to Anthony Miller. Mm-hmm. Those confuse defenses, and again, you can't use them too much.
Yeah. I was gonna say, in 2018, Nagy was innovative. In 2019, Nagy was cute. There are sometimes where you loved, when a trick play works out, of course everyone loves it. But imagine how much Philly fans would hate Doug Peterson if the Philly special hadn't worked out. There are a lot of instances where Nagy tries to get too tricky and it backfires on him. And he just does too many, he utilizes too many gadgets where he could have just run it up the middle or something like that. So
I agree, but I think
everything in moderation.
I think that the Bears should be using them in more trick play sense, and not even trick play sense, but more of a sense. I think that Tarik Cohen shouldn't be used or put at the wide receiver position. And I think Cordero Patterson could be put even at running back, because I think that if they utilize him right in the sense that they do a toss to him or even a halfback dive, he's big. I think he's 6'3", 6'2". They could run it up the middle with him. Maybe no one's going to expect it. That's the point, the element of suspense and not expecting it. But I think that the Bears need to utilize Tarik Cohen as less of a focal part of their offense and more of a player who is used for trick plays. And don't get me wrong, I think he's a great player, but I think you need to keep him at moderation.
Some parts I definitely agree with. Some part I'm going to contest about what you said there. Well, just to start, I saw something interesting. This is how I kind of prefaced my question to you. In the Chicago Tribune, I was reading it. I think it was a while ago. Someone wrote in and asked, why isn't Tarik Cohen just moved to wide receiver? And the journalist there responded saying, there's no point in moving him because that would just, ruin the effect or ruin the gimmick, whatever, not gimmick, whatever, the effect, whatever you want to call it. And I definitely agree with that. I think Tarik Cohen is kind of great in the position where he's at right now. The way he's utilized is bad, but I think it's great to have him as a receiving running back. there's no reason to switch him to wide receiver. So that's kind of out of the question. But as for what you're saying about using him in moderation, I don't know if they really have to. I mean, I did just kind of agree with you before, but I still think in 2018, Tarik Cohen was used well. He was used very well. And then in 2019, I just think Nagy, like he was trying to run Tarik Cohen up the middle, which just does not make any sense.
Yeah.
Why you have like a tiny guy? Why not just give it to David Montgomery or, some bigger guy? When Tarik Cohen can be a big part of this offense, I don't think he has to be used in moderation, but that doesn't mean that he should be used as like a ground and pound running back. Like he could be used as a versatile player, but still a key part of the offense. Like, Deebo Samuel, for example, just the first name that comes to mind. He's a wide receiver, but he also gets a lot of tosses, like a lot. And I guess I kind of praise Kyle Shanahan on this a lot, but, he's very creative with implementing Deebo Samuel. So I think the same thing should happen with Tarik Cohen, where, he gets a lot of different opportunities, either on the running, but running to the outside and trick plays rather than, just running up the middle, which Nagy oddly did a lot in 2019.
If you enjoyed this episode of From the Den, please remember to subscribe, comment, and like this video.
Or, if you're a Packers fan, remember to dislike and leave a nasty comment. Click the links on the screen to access additional content.